Hello, my name is Karine Dilanian. I am a member of the organizing committee and coordinator of the International Academic Conference on the Historical Skies, Harmonies between Heaven and Earth. The conference will be held on 21st, 23rd October 2022 in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. That is one of the oldest cities in the world, famous for its architectural monuments and scientific achievements of astronomers and mathematicians. The conference is organized by the Sofia Center for the Study of Astronomy and Astrology in Culture, University of Wales, Trinity St. David, and Institute for the Study of Astronomy in History, Philosophy and Culture. Today we welcome the speaker of the conference, Dr. Liana Saif from University of Amsterdam. And my question is, what is your main research interest and how does it relate to the theme of the conference?
Thank you so much, Karine, for having me and for inviting me to be part of this amazing conference. And to answer your question, my main concerns and research interests lie in the way magic and astrology were theorized and understood as sciences that co-produce knowledge about the universe, the dynamics, the celestial world, the terrestrial world, and the kind of divine and volitional dynamics that rule the relationships between the different parts of the universe, and in particular, the influence of the world above on the world below. And I'm also particularly interested in this tension in astrological discourse between the planets and the stars as causes to terrestrial events and the planets and stars as signs of terrestrial events, and the kind of questions this binary produces and the problems as well. When you speak of causality, you imply determinism. That's not good for a lot of people who reject determinism. And to speak of it as signs only also presents a problem to, for example, the early medieval astrologers or astronomers who were trying to fit astrology within a clear Aristotelian program of knowledge. So someone like Abu Mashar al-Balkhi would be very interested in justifying the rationale of astrology and astral influences in terms of ideas like action at a distance, ideas of hylomorphism, Aristotelian hylomorphism, Neoplatonic emanation. So I'm interested in this, but that is not to say that I'm also not interested in practice. I'm interested in the way, particularly in magic, I am interested in the making and the techniques of magic. How were people doing these things? What does it mean to engrave a picture that represents an astral configuration and therefore giving power to an element? Simple questions like, how did astral magicians use metal? How did they do the engraving? I'm also interested in the professionalization of astral magic and astrology. So what were the networks that were exchanging information? Who was teaching astral magic? Where was that happening? What kind of books people read? So I started primarily from a very philosophical and theoretical interest in astrology and astral magic. And because I worked in the British Museum and I worked alongside the curator Venetia Porter, who worked and still is interested in the material culture of astrology and astral magic. And I also collaborated with Francesca Leoni at the Ashmolean Museum as well on looking at the relationship between astral magic and astrology in texts and in material culture and practice. So that is also very interesting to me. I specialize mostly in the period between the 8th century and the 12th century in the Islamic context, but I'm also, and I have worked on the intercultural exchange of esoteric and occult ideas between the medieval and early modern Europe and medieval Islam. So
yeah, that's very, very interesting and very inspiring. And what will be your topic at the conference?
Yes, my topic at the conference will be zooming in. So I will tackle all of these issues that I've just spoke about, but I'm going to use this really incredible corpus of magical and astrological knowledge that we now refer to as the Pseudo-Aristotelian Hermetica. I believe they are a 9th century corpus written in Arabic, and it contains what appears as advice and instruction by Aristotle to Alexander the Great. So he helps him out to optimize his military campaigns and his life through magic and astrological awareness. And in that context, in this corpus, the idea of the revolutions is at the center of not just the structure of the universe, but the genesis of Earth, of the universe itself, of Adam and Eve. So there's like alternative mythology in there that I would like to talk about. So I want to share with the audience the way that revolutions and conjunctions are set in these texts, and then by assessing the influence of the Pseudo-Aristotelian Hermetica, argue that medieval Islamic understanding of revolutions was at its core really Hermetic.
I see. You are talking about revolutions and conjunctions, and can we consider that revolutions and conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn are in this row as well?
Yes, of course. I mean, the great conjunction, the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, had a place of honor in a lot of astrological texts, and because of the significance, right, of the conjunction of these two slow-moving big planets. So their conjunction means global events, right? Means, you know, a huge change, things turning, unleashing potential. It means sweeping changes. So that obviously comes with a lot of anxiety to people, whether they were medieval astrologers who were trying to figure out their best interest in the context of courts, right, and caliphs. And so they were concerned with historical astrology, like what does the pattern of history tell us about the relationship of the terrestrial world with the celestial world? And so Jupiter and Saturn have a great importance as well, due to how not so often it takes place, right? So it's about, you know, the changes of dynasties. It's about the toppling of governments, you know. It's a very political conjunction, so it mattered a lot.
Yes, we did an interview with Steven van den Broeke, and I mentioned that my topic will cover the discussion in Russian society of the 16th century that was stimulated by the prognosis made about Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in 1524, when there was prediction about the flood and a lot of different prognostications were done. And although the Russian intellectuals of that period, like high priests and intellectuals and intellectual circles that were around the Tsar at that time, so they didn't accept astrology and the theory of the conjunctions. But this discussion stimulated very interesting concept concerning one of the main ideological ideas of the Russian Tsardom, that Moscow is the third Rome. So yes, the rejecting of the meaning of the conjunctions still stimulated this discourse in the society, and gave opportunity to formulate this very important ideological concept.
Interesting.
Yes, so I will talk about that.
Oh, that's wonderful. So are you interested in the way that astrological discourse, even if it was antithetical to it,
Yeah.
still way will somehow marry astrology with people will make connections even
Yes.
in the context of rejection?
Yes. Yes, that's true. So the organizing committee prepares an intensive cultural program during the conference.
Mm.
And what are your expectations concerning the place for the conference, that is Samarkand, a cultural program and a tour to the ancient cities of the region, to Bukhara and Khiva?
I mean, it goes without saying that I immediately started thinking about the history of astronomy, right? Because of Ulugh-Beg's observatory. I also immediately thought about the heritage in the science of astronomy and astrology that comes from that, center of astrological knowledge. And it was a place of intense observation, and I am looking forward to imbibe and to sense this when I walk in the streets of Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva. It's also, I think, important to remember the contributions to scientific knowledge and divinatory knowledge of Samarkand and the area, because sometimes we tend to focus on other places, other centers. We tend to focus on Baghdad or Cairo or elsewhere. But I think it's interesting and very important to celebrate this place with this fantastic event. So although it is predictable, pun intended, but I think it's being at Ulugh-Beg Observatory. I think that I'm really excited about.
Yes, and some scholars from Uzbekistan, they will also attend the conference. One of them will be talking about Ulugh-Beg and his library.
Fantastic.
Yes, the other one is a translator of Ulugh-Beg's Zich. And this year, Ulugh-Beg's Zich is published in 4 languages.
Oh,
in
wow.
In Chinese, in Russian, and in Uzbek. And there will be presentation of this book at the conference, and the translator will be there. So there is a good chance to talk and to exchange ideas in person.
Oh, that is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you very much, Liana, for the interview. I'm looking forward to meet you in Samarkand, and I invite delegates to attend this extraordinary event. Welcome to Samarkand on 21st, 23rd October, 2022.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to meeting you, inshallah, soon.